Hi, I'm Thomas with Believe in the Run.
And this is Robbie with Believe in the Run.
And this is Megan with Believe in the Run.
And you're listening to The Drop, our weekly podcast about all the nonsense that goes around with running and our nonsense around running. And this week we got a great one for you. We've got Dustin for our interview, who is Lab Rat Run. He's the one who actually tells you if the shoe is actually more efficient than you think. I don't know if I'm even saying that right. And then we even have a special time. We're going to, in our normal little preamble here, when we talk about a new shoe, we have Todd Falker from Puma who's going to chime in and give us his thoughts on the new Puma Fast-R.
Yeah, it's actually Lab Rat Run Down.
Yeah, I always don't put the down.
It's kind of
Lab Rat.
Anyways.
Lab Rat Run Down.
I'll stop correcting you.
That's right.
You can just start talking about other stuff.
We could. So, Megan, you're continuing to build up to your Boston Marathon. You got that training going. How's that going?
It's going pretty well. I did a long run this Saturday, which I did it by myself, and I kind of forgot that I don't love running long runs by myself.
You don't usually do that?
I do, but it had been a while. Like, I did a race, and then I was running with the Faster Bastards. And
right. So the whole thing was by yourself?
Yeah. But I did get a shout out from Riley, who started yelling "no salmon" to me around mile 14, which I loved.
If you see Megan, her code word is "no salmon."
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's also her password to all her social media networks.
Jeez, no. And
the
then
O's are zeros.
Yeah.
Sorry, continue.
But yeah, and then did another decent workout this morning, so the build's going fine.
Okay, what I loved about our workout this morning, Robbie, was her pace for her entire 15 miles.
Mm-hmm. Wow, you did run 15 miles. You're not lying.
Yeah, was my 1K paces for my 5 times 1K workout this morning.
Yeah.
Okay.
1K, is that even a distance? Isn't that like 10 feet?
You got it. No, 1K is like the worst. It's like a little over a half
It's
mile.
0.62 miles.
Oh.
It's the worst.
No. Why are we doing K things still with workouts?
Because it's a 5K preparation.
It's the perfect workout before the 5K. It's 5 1Ks broken up. So if you can nail those, you can do the 5K. It's science.
I guess that makes sense. Yeah.
Okay, but anyway.
I don't know if it does make sense.
Right now, I'm that meme with like the woman doing the math problem, or the Zach Galifianakis one.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry, man.
I don't know if it does make sense because, technically, yeah, it makes sense. It's 5 1Ks. But when you run a race, you do all the 5 1Ks at the same time. You don't have the breaks in between.
Mm-hmm.
It's the training. It's not. Do you run a marathon before you run a marathon?
I do.
You run 5.
I run 5 marathons.
But you don't run the total mileage of the marathon.
No, because
it's not a, yeah.
That's ridiculous. You also don't taper for 2 weeks for a 5K.
Yeah, well, some people do.
I don't. I was getting so excited for the taper.
I tapered 2 weeks just in training.
Speaking of needing a taper, Robbie ran up a mountain this weekend.
Yeah, Uncle Rico style.
Yeah. Now, you always say Uncle Rico. He throws the ball over the mountain.
It was like he threw me over the mountain.
Okay.
I wish he threw me over because it was terrible.
Yeah. I mean, I have to say there's certain runs that sometimes I see people post runs and I'm like, that's beautiful. I wish I was running on those trails. I wish I could get up in those mountains. Or Robbie's look like, I was like, oh my God, I would have turned around and not done that.
Yeah,
route.
I don't even know. I got sent this route from somebody, and it's near where my parents live in Pennsylvania, so it's kind of back along they're called the Blue Mountains.
A lot of banjos and porch fiddles.
Yeah, I did pass a hunter at one point. He thought I was an animal, which I probably should have yelled. Because, I mean, I was on a fire road, but it was like he was walking down, and he had his rifle and everything, and he heard me from far away. He heard me, and he like stopped and was like kind of looking around, and I was like, he's going to see me.
Now, you didn't have any neon at all?
No, I had antlers on.
Okay, that helps.
Yeah. No, that was just what I wear for
Robbie
fun.
Raccoon.
No, actually, I was I asked my sister's boyfriend who hunts, if I was like, is it still hunting season like back here? And he's like, nah, you're good, like whatever. It's still hunting season.
Yeah, I have a feeling that it's hunting season.
It's literally like all year round.
Yeah, whenever you have a gun with some ammo.
Yeah.
And there's no cops around.
Yeah. But no, so I was not dressed for that. Anyway, so I went, it was over this mountain, and then I probably should have looked at like what the actual route was before I did it. And the backside was all in the shade, so it was like had snow.
Yeah, it's cold.
And it was like a sheet of ice.
Like it's not the shade you want right now.
No, it was 25 degrees out. And then, so the whole, you would usually get a downhill, but it was all just like a sheet of ice. So I had to like walk it basically. And then rail trail, and it was like the most depressing run ever.
Like big rocks.
Yeah, it was
it looked great.
It was sad because everything's dead. There's no humans there. There's no birds or animals. You're just running. Like it's just like
it didn't.
Really selling this one.
Well, he
I'm
posted
telling you,
the
it's
story,
terrible.
and I was like, never gonna do that run.
But I really almost turned around like half a mile in because I was like, my legs were super dead from the day before too because I did like almost a speed workout. 10 miles, and I was just like, the pride, and I was like, I am training for 50K, so I was like, if I can power through this, like,
then I can power
it'll be
through.
good, like, training for that. And like the flats and stuff were fine, but then I hit this, I was like on a rail trail, I was like, cool, it's like, this isn't bad. And then I had the route on my Chorus watch, and it's like veers off to the right, and I'm like, is there even it just looks like the middle of the woods. I see a blue blaze, and I'm like, there isn't even a trail here. It's just rocks and like limbs and everything. Like there's not even a trail. And then it goes like straight up another mountain, like literally straight up. It was 1,100 feet in like 0.9 miles, which like the grade was around 25 to 30% like the whole time.
And so this is great. Robbie and I ran together on Monday? What day?
Yeah,
was that?
Tuesday.
So we run together on Tuesday, and my legs have been feeling kind of shot after the weekend's runs. So I took Monday off, and I get out there, and I'm like, you know what? This is weird. I was expecting to be a little more sore. I feel great. Robbie and I are running together. I say to Robbie, I was like, wow, this run's just kind of cruising by. It just feels great. And Robbie's like, yeah, not so much.
I feel like I'm dying. It really was horrible. But anyways, overall, though, like, and then I got to the top of this ridge, and you run along top of the mountain. But
you're still going?
Hold on. But they clear cut the whole mountain, so it's just windy as hell.
Nice.
And then once I finally got down, I was like, it showed to cross this creek, and I'm like, there's no bridge here, and I don't know where the next bridge is. And it was probably 100 feet wide, like it was a decent creek. So I had to take my shoes and socks off. Because I still had decent mileage left, still 30 degrees out, and waded across the creek like up to my knees in 40 degrees. I mean, it's a mountain.
I wouldn't take my shoes off.
Yeah, it was freezing.
That's how you get hypothermia and like die in the woods.
No, I was plenty warm. Trust me. Anyways, and then it was a whole nother, and I had to go back another mountain, and then I tripped over a branch and fell right on my face.
I don't know what a holler is, but I'm guessing that you ran through a couple hollers.
Yeah, it was a holler. It was similar to a holler.
Okay.
What's a holler?
I don't know.
It's like we're
just out in the woods.
It's like kind of a valley, it's like back where like my ancestors grew up in West Virginia.
Okay.
Let's just put it this way: there's no dentists or anything like that back in hollers.
It's just like very backwoods, like kind of in between the mountains, like
okay,
like a dip.
All right.
Yeah. Anyways, so yeah, it was quite the adventure, but I'm glad I did it.
Yeah.
And
you feel confident now that if you can withstand that.
You can do the 50K.
Yeah. Because doing the back-to-back, the 10 mile and then the 16 mile.
Is the 50K the weekend before Boston?
It's March 19th. So it's in 2 weeks.
It's a month before.
Okay. What is the half marathon the same weekend?
The weekend hat and then the half marathon.
Oh, yes. I'm not doing that half marathon.
Yeah. I might not be running that loop with you.
Oh, yeah. I forgot you were maybe going to join me for that.
I might. I would like to because I love that course. I just don't feel like running the 50K. It's a love-hate relationship. But it sounds a lot better than your run that you did
I think
weekend.
it'll be. I mean, it'll be
Hat's
a lot
always
easier.
fun. You'll enjoy it no matter what.
I love that race.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was it was a good adventure, but I actually took today off too because I was still feeling beat. By the way, I took the CBD, the performance tea stuff that we had, And I gotta tell you, like, this stuff's legit.
Wait, Performance Tea?
It's called Performance
Wait,
Tea. The company.
you took it when?
Oh.
Last night.
Oh, for the sleepy ones?
Yeah.
Oh,
I haven't tried the
Sleepy
sleep.
Time.
I haven't tried the sleep.
Oh yeah, man, it's good.
Should I
sleepy
try it?
time. Yeah.
And did you do it hot or cold?
Hot tea, because I'm a hot tea.
I like that. Maybe not tonight, because tonight is Wednesday, and that's a great day for me.
It's just I took it right before, I was actually drinking my tea in bed, Cosmo Kramer style, and I was like, reading a book, getting sleepy, and then I didn't wake up during the night. Just woke up like around when I was supposed to wake up, which is nice because usually I wake up a lot in the middle of the night.
What? So you, Meg, have been doing the melatonin.
Every night.
I do the melatonin.
You do it every night?
Every night.
See, I feel like they're just...
No, it works. It doesn't build up.
I
Every night I'm like... "Wonk."
Also, I can't fall asleep at night because I can't turn my brain off. And I take melatonin, and 30 minutes later, I'm asleep. It's like clockwork.
Yeah, this sounds like an addiction.
I don't
It
care.
is, yeah, it's a good
It's
one.
a delicious little gummy that I get to eat before bed.
It is. It's like a treat. It's like mints on the pillow.
"Quote unquote" melatonin.
Yeah. Speaking of which, Meg, it is Wednesday night. We both did our workouts today. Will we be having? And I know this is airing on a Friday, but we recorded on a Wednesday. Will we be partaking in Wednesday night cocktails?
Who knows?
Wacky Wednesdays at the
I love it.
Snowy Burger Murray house.
I live for Wednesday. I'm like 2 days off.
Oh, so do you just drink cocktails like on one day?
Yeah.
During training?
Well, no, I'll do the weekends, but like on the weekdays we try to
Oh, okay.
stay. But on Wednesdays,
You didn't Thursday night. Oh, did you drink last Thursday night
No.
at the run? Okay.
He couldn't because we got our blood tested.
Right.
yeah. But I am gonna start instituting Thursday night drinking with the Believe Run crew, which meets here right at the headquarters.
Yeah, if you're in town, meet up Thursday nights here.
It's actually, I hate running at night. Last time I ran, was that last week? Yeah. Last week I ran it and I got pad thai before we went for the run. Big mistake.
Yeah.
Big mistake. So like I want to run it tomorrow.
Dude, you had a belly full of noodles.
It was so
man.
gross. When I was running, I was so afraid that I was just going to lose my.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so this week
I was afraid. I was running behind you at points.
Oof, it was just it was scary. But this week if I come back, I've got to figure out the eating because I can't run like just on lunch, and
It's called a snack.
Yeah, why don't you just like a granola bar or something? Or banana. Like same thing when you wake up to go running.
Yeah.
I don't have a banana. I have a graham cracker.
Then eat a
Or eat
graham
graham
cracker.
Yeah.
All right, but then this
whatever
week,
you do, don't eat a whole meal of pad thai.
well, here's the problem. I went to the restaurant, and it was $17 for the pad thai, and I had it in like a tray, and I was like,
That's a lot.
I'm like, I can't throw this out.
Did you have a protein on there?
Chicken?
That does seem a little
It's
high for
pricey.
chicken.
Yeah. I was thinking,
I know, right?
Inflation
Steak,
though,
maybe?
inflation's out of control though.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, that was the thing. I was
Pad
like,
Thai
I
is
probably gave a
not
$2
safe.
tip, so it was probably $15 on a tip
okay.
for $2.
Now,
Anyway.
the more information comes out, the longer the story goes on.
Yeah. And so I didn't want to leave it there, and I wanted to finish it, and I was like, it's 2 hours before the run. I'll be fine. Ate it all, spicy. I did. You know how they have the chart?
Yeah.
I did the 3.
Okay.
out of what?
I approve. 3
there's-
out of 3, right?
No, I think it's out of 5. Like it goes.
Then I'm not
Goes
impressed.
like no. You have. To, it's called the way that we would
Okay,
make
it's
it.
like a legit place. then.
Yeah.
So some of those places like 3 means
They
nothing.
basically warn you not to do.
I
Don't
feel
go
you.
above 3.
Yeah, and I will tell you, it was nice and spicy, just the right amount. Like I had that, when your forehead starts to sweat. I got that.
That's a good spice.
And so I ate that whole thing, and I was like, I got 2 hours before the run. I'll be fine.
Those
It wasn't.
noodles don't move.
They did not move, and the way back, so it's a little 5-mile thing. We were coming back, and the last mile and a half, I was like having like what I would assume cramps are like for women.
I saw your face. It looked like you were being interrogated under one of those like heat lamps in a back like jail room. Like you're not.
I was like,
like,
oh,
well.
boy. So yeah, but if I come back tomorrow, that is true because I'll probably have a couple of beers because it's just so much fun. Like sitting here without beers last week.
Less fun.
I mean,
it was fun, but it was
seemed like you're having a good time.
I was, but it was less fun. Like I didn't say that many inappropriate things.
Yeah.
You'd had much less to regret that evening.
I did. I probably slept better.
You know what? I haven't been drinking much, like at all. I think I'm starting to get bored with it.
Oh, wow. Robbie's changing a new leaf. Is that what they say?
I don't know what you do to get bored. Like for me, I think the appeal is like if we have a cocktail night, it just, the shoulders relax. The worrying about the rest of the stuff I got to do kind of takes a side seat. And I just kind of like, whew, it's like an exhale.
Yeah.
It's a very healthy habit. Of
all my worries float away.
I'm trying to sell you back on alcohol.
Yeah, no, it's like there's a lot of net. It seems like the older you get, there's more negatives that
there
make
is.
up for the positives.
I would agree. I would agree with what you're saying. The sleep thing, that stuff. But like, I feel like one cocktail.
Yeah, sure.
If I had one, it would be a good idea.
One cocktail that's filled to the brim in a 24-ounce mug
of straight vodka.
One bottle of vodka.
Yeah.
No, anyway, so you've learned something. One, I eat animal products because I had chicken in my Thai food, and I will drink alcohol from time to time. And I wonder why
you're a real rebel.
How's your 5K training?
Why my paces don't drop. Actually, today, I told you I was hanging on for dear life on those 1K repeats and got it done. Two reasons I got it done. Because like definitely doing the third one, I was like, I am dying. I want to quit, but kept going. And then on the last one, that one I was like, Megan's probably running this pace for 15 miles. And then the last one I was like, I just want to stop. And I didn't because I was like, I don't want to look at Megan's face when I tell her to stop.
Oh, I'm glad you.
I'm a good motivator.
You are.
I have a question.
Hit it,
Meg.
What's up?
Do you still do speed training if you're not training for a race, or are you just always training for a race?
Well, recently it's just I'm always training for a race, but I do like to add in speed even if there's like not a real goal because. One, I get bored. And two, I just think it like, I don't know, it makes running more enjoyable and like you feel better.
I can tell you from my experience, when I've trained for ultras and stuff, I will lose leg speed if I just do long, slow distance runs all the time. And it's harder for me to, like, I do the striders after some runs and I do, like, if I'm not doing speed work, I still do striders after my run, pick up the pace and try to just get that leg turnover going.
But also,
because it will disappear.
Don't you feel like really great after hard speed work?
Yeah.
Endorphins kick in.
I think I get addicted to that.
Along with melatonin and vodka.
Less vodka, definitely addicted to melatonin.
Yeah.
Why? Okay. I think here's another thing. Like alcohol, the younger you are, the more you can get away with just turning on the engines.
Right.
If you haven't. But as you get older, you lose your fast twitch muscles. So if you don't do high intensity training, one, you're not going to work out. Like they say, one of the number one things for aging athletes is to do high intensity workouts. So you need to get your heart revving at a certain whatever heart rate. And then two, you will lose your fast twitch muscles.
I think you just lose muscle mass in general.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you could make a converse argument in some ways too, though, if you're doing, I guess, too much speed work, too many runs too fast.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They say they're...
I guess like the 80-20 rule.
I also
I think it is something like that.
I go back to like you got to
1/4 of your training.
You got to be enjoying it if you want it to be sustainable. Like you're not going to continue doing something if you just don't enjoy it.
Not necessarily true. I continue to get on the bike trainer and do that stuff, even though like it's the last thing I want to do. Like I appreciate it after I'm done doing it, but like getting myself on the trainer.
But that's not a daily thing for you.
That's because
you don't like it. It's not sustainable. I'm saying
it is sustainable because I still do it.
You're saying you need to like it to,
I still want both of you guys to come out for one of the Faster Bastard Sunday runs, rides, because that is enjoyable pain.
Yeah, like I'm not doing it.
Okay.
I'll tell you why. Because I 100% don't trust that you guys to not drop me.
Oh no, it's no drop.
Everyone says these.
No,
things.
no. It's
no drop. Come on, Faster Bastard Run. It's no drop. Everyone's running 7:30, and the last person is a mile behind.
No. It's totally different on the bikes. Like they literally will stop and wait for people and make sure that nobody. Like it's a safety thing.
Okay.
It's not like the running thing where. Yes, there are every once in a while someone will come out that's like just driving the pace. But the thing is it's like that maybe somebody gets carried away with the pace and the group spreads out a little bit. Okay. But then they get to a certain place and stop. And it's also like 15 miles out, we stop and have coffee and stuff like that. Get back on the bikes, ride back. And there's different places, like there's some monster climbs where everybody waits at the top of the climb.
Okay. All right, nobody cares about this.
Yeah.
Who's listening to the podcast?
Nobody does.
Okay, so let's dive into the Puma Fast-R.
With Todd Falker. All right, so we're getting into the part of our weekly podcast where we do a little bit of a mini shoe review. And for the first time ever, we actually are doing a mini shoe review with someone who helped design the shoe, which is pretty sick.
That's pretty fancy stuff.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what his name is. It's Todd Falker, and he's with Puma USA Running.
Previous guest on the show, by the way.
Yeah, we've actually done a full podcast. So if you really want to do a deep dive with Todd, you can go back into our archives and check it out. But today, we're really just going to focus on the Fast-R. Originally, Megan had gotten a chance to run in it. The rest of us hadn't. But now, all of us, including young Brandon, who is not in the room, have put on the Fast-R, done some miles in it, got the feel of the shoe, and have a pretty interesting take on it all around. So without further ado, Todd, why don't you walk us through the thought behind this shoe and why this shoe exists?
Yeah, absolutely. And if I'm not wrong, I think this is time number 3. So am I the most visited Believe in the Run guest?
Yeah. 2 more visits and we'll get you that Saturday Night Live jacket with the patch on it.
That's what we need. Puma Fast-R, this is a concept that we started almost 3 years ago at this point. Working with our innovation team based out of Germany, we wanted to do a lot of things differently. First and foremost was really to have a visual that would absolutely pop off the stage and really, look a lot different. And I think in a major way we delivered that with Fast-R. But it wasn't just for looks, right? This whole shoe was designed by starting looking at how the foot actually functions. When you're coming in towards the ground, the foot actually first wants to look for cushion, right? And that's where we have this piece of EVA in the heel that is actually a little bit firmer than the P-backs, and we'll get to that in just a second. But to kind of cushion your foot's fall. Then we have that full-length carbon fiber plate, and I can show you in a second, but it is, the most dramatic geometry and when it comes to plates basically in the industry. Just look at that bend in the middle there.
Yeah, if you're listening to this and you can't see this shoe, it's basically looks almost like, you could almost say it looks like a high heel.
Or a chair.
Without a heel, without the, what do you call the, I guess that's the heel. Yeah, a high heel without the heel.
The heel.
Right. A 3 or a 4 incher, I don't know, however many 38 millimeters is, right?
Yeah.
So in the heel, the plate is right next to the foot, and then in the forefoot, the plate is right next to the ground. And what that does is really propel you forward in the most powerful way. When your foot is fully on the ground, that's called stance phase, right? And that's where the Nitro Elite, that P-backs-based forefoot, which is actually a bio-based version of the P-backs, really starts to sing. So a lot of people will talk about rebound numbers when it comes to foam. We went next level beyond that, which is something that's called a hysteresis curve. And what that does, it actually shows the way that the entire shoe is absorbing all of your energy and then returning all of it. And we look at not just the upside of that, but the downside. And if you measure what's under that arc and that curve, that'll actually give you the entire efficiency of the shoe. And that's where Fast-R and the combination of the foams and all that works really, really well.
I'm backing you up.
Okay, go.
Hysteresa. Did I say that right?
Yeah. I mean,
Wow.
I'm not the scientist, but
That's
to my
surprising,
understanding, absolutely.
because like I can't remember anybody's name, and then you throw in Hysteresa, and I got it right on the first bat. That's pretty good. It also would appear to me like the way that it's built, it kind of reminds me of the anatomical foot with the heel. This could be like your plantar fasciitis coming through here where the plate is.
Plantar.
And
I think it's just
the
plantar.
Not
plantar
fascia.
Hopefully
Plantar
not
fascia.
that.
I told you I'm bad with names. It's like 3 seconds ago. I was like, I get bad. But like the plantar and then the forefoot, the sensation of this, before we go forward, I want to hear Megan and Robbie's, and I'll give you mine. Like the sensation of running in this shoe.
Yeah. So do you want me to go? Or
Yeah,
do you
go
want
for
to
it.
Okay. So I was, I hear everyone talk about the carbon plates and the geometry and everything else, and I'm like, oh, okay, like whatever. That's everyone says theirs is the best. But then I did run in this for a long run this past weekend, and I do have to say it's the way that you were just talking about, like the pop and especially if you hit it a certain way. It's really like springy and lively, and I was honestly kind of shocked by how much I love this shoe.
Hey, Robbie did. Robbie immediately, like, he came in, he's like, I love this shoe.
Yeah,
and
I texted it to you right after the run.
yeah, I think that of the demographics, I think that we all like this shoe. I think that Robbie, it really hit for your.
Yeah, because I like a bit of a firmer, like snappy feeling shoe, and I felt like that's I don't know. Like that, like I don't like the softer midsoles, but I don't know. What do you think, Megan?
I liked it. I feel like for me, this is for the half marathon and down. Like I felt like if I was running really fast, that's when I felt that plate and that pop. I felt like when I was slowing down, I didn't get as much of the bounce as I wanted.
So half marathon for Megan, full marathon for Molly Seidel.
Yes.
There we go. Here's the thing I noticed most about it is this foam in the front. Is it P-backs? It's a bio-based P-backs, right?
Yep.
It has such a nice feel. It's probably the closest feeling that I could say if I had to compare it to another brand and the foam. This is the closest feeling to me if you've gotten a chance to wear the Streak Fly or just straight Zoom X without the plane. It has that really nice soft feel that has that bounce back. Now, the thing that I found was that and I've done 3 workouts, and I'm training for like a 5K right now. So I was doing 800 repeats and 1K repeats. And then I just did like a run with Robbie where we just went out and filmed a reel, which is,
that was actually,
we were probably like 5-minute miles on that reel, right, Robbie?
Of course. Yeah.
Like lightning speed.
Always.
Maybe better.
Yeah.
440.
And the weird thing is I found that it performs really well at all speeds. Like it performed well when I was doing my repeats. I like it even at a slower pace. Megan said that it didn't feel the same.
I didn't love it at the slower paces. I guess my point is, for me at least, it came alive when I was like really running fast.
And you have to understand, I think that Megan, when she's not running fast, is probably further back in the stance phase. So maybe landing more heel, and I land more forefoot. Robbie lands more forefoot.
Yeah, same. I will say a quick pointing this out, the stability I was uncertain about at first, but then I found it to be pretty stable.
Yeah.
The forefoot of the shoe is pretty wide, so that helps a lot.
I think people will be scared because this doesn't look like a lot to land on, but then when you're in it, I never felt unstable on the shoe.
And I think from the Puma side as well, like Deviate Elite, at first when we were looking at first prototypes of Fast-R, we were like, okay, so this is the new marathon shoe, right? And then Molly did her whole Olympic medal thing. And then we just kept getting overwhelmingly positive. I mean, right? Like we just kept getting overwhelmingly positive feedback on Deviate Elite. So we are going to keep this around and in line. In April, there should be quite a bit more production of the Deviate Elite. I still think that this is a great democratic shoe in the super shoe space where it will work for a lot of people. I love what you guys are saying and kind of analyzing when it comes to Fast-R that, maybe there are certain paces or certain foot strikes, different running shoes for different people, right? That makes sense.
Yeah, and so before we go further, because I do want to talk about some of the supply and demand stuff, because this Puma's had a little bit of issues with that. and we get a lot of questions about that. But before we get into that, why don't we walk through the rest of the shoe? Because I have to say, the upper on this shoe is a standout among super shoes.
Yeah,
for sure.
So
yeah, I felt like the upper was probably my favorite upper of any super shoe, definitely.
So let's get into that, Todd. What's the magic elixir over here? Why are we enjoying this so much?
Yeah, absolutely. So, a lot of the super shoes, they don't always run around corners really, really well. So we have two things in the upper that will really help that. One is this mono mesh that is, most of the body, and particularly in the toe, where you can sometimes in other shoes slip off that platform. This is going to keep you really nicely locked down. We also have our power tape, which is, a new technology that you'll see across different Puma business units. They're using it in team sport for football. They're using it in a lot of different places, soccer. And that's really going to keep you nice and centered there. But then what a lot of the athletes just keep raving about is this kind of sock-like tongue construction and the way that it, not only hugs the top of your foot, but gives you nice, like, soft padding and cushioning to keep the foot connected.
Yeah, I felt like especially the midfoot area and the top of the foot was
and the heel collar on, there was less gaping than I see in some of the shoes.
Well, even the Deviate Elite, that was a little bit more open in the heel area.
Robbie, breathability on this.
Oh, great. I mean,
almost too good.
My feet were freezing. Yeah.
My feet were cold too. The first time I did the repeats in it was like a 20-degree day, and I was like, I hope my feet warm up. Yeah, but it worked out pretty well.
Real quick. I did want to ask you this because we talked about this in the first Sauce video. Do you take technology or fit of the upper from other segments like soccer? Because it seems like it feels like the fit of a soccer cleat almost, how tight.
Which Robbie wraps. Being the kid who played soccer.
Yeah, not a ton, like enough to know.
Like for me, it's like I stopped like by the time I was like in middle school.
Hey, I've worked retail, and anyone that has worked retail before, that person, they come in and they want that upper to just be, locked down, toes right, smashed at the end. So much of running and performance is really about fit and preference. I was a former soccer player. I used to like a really tight shoe. Then I started running ultra marathons. Now I need crazy amounts of toe space. So, I think when you look at different foot shapes, some people have high volume, some people have low volume. Some people have different preferences. I think this fit and shape is actually a little bit different than what the Deviate Elite is, which again, from our side, is just a service we're trying to do to the different runners, right? Like, not every shoe is going to be perfect for every person, but as a brand, we want to have different options for different people and their preferences.
Yeah. The Deviate Elite didn't hit for me. This one does. Yeah. The interesting thing about that is typically you're talking about foot shape. Robbie and I are pretty similar with narrow, low volume feet, but Megan's got a big old club foot and and it's kind of wide. So,
but the fit of this shoe was great for me. Like I had no issues.
I'm not sure. Did Jared try my shoe on?
I don't know.
I forget.
Maybe when you were looking.
Yeah, probably.
Todd, I'm really curious. You guys obviously just signed some of the most amazing women in distance running.
Frisbee, Dakota. I was going to call her Dakota Fanning.
Dakota Lindworm.
Yeah, Dakota
Thomas
Lindworm.
is not allowed to name anyone.
I told you names. I mentioned that at the head of this.
But yeah, what feedback are you getting from some of these ladies, and what are they using?
That are getting the first, like they don't know Puma before necessarily this shoe.
Yeah, absolutely. And I definitely listened to your guys' Dakota podcast the other day. Her take is the shoe is just really light and comfortable. And with Dakota specifically, she's like, I can do the hard workouts in them, and then, my feet and my legs just feel really protected and really feel better after a lot of the workouts. Someone like Taylor, that's more of a 3K, a little bit, maybe 5K, a little bit shorter specialist, Taylor Werner. What's that?
I said she just crushed one out.
She just ran a crazy fast 5K the other day, 15 low. For her, she's like, the shoe's bouncy, but it has a little bit of stability as well, which certainly some people like. Andy Frisbee is just raving about the upper right, saying, wow, this thing really kind of keeps you locked down. But I think by and large, even on the guys' side as well, Pat Tiernan, a great runner from Australia, is talking about how responsive it is. And not to just keep name dropping all of them, right? John Dressel is another one that PR'd for Puma in the half marathon at Houston. And his thing is really just about that plate. And I think this goes back to some of the things that you guys have said. At a really, really high speed, our power plate, which is full length, and has so much coverage, not only in the toe, but then is even reinforced in the midfoot, right? That's how we're able to get that really extreme arc. The really, really fast runners just feel that maximum amount of propulsion. And that's where internally we've done a lot of lab testing, a lot of treadmill testing. And there is a little bit of that correlation. The faster you go, the better the shoe runs for you.
Yeah. Cool. Speaking of lab testing, and maybe that's why I'm not getting the most out of the shoes. I'm not that fast. But speaking of lab testing, today's guest that we have on the podcast is Dustin, who you might know from Lab Rat Run.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and he said, "Hey, tell Todd to send a shoe for testing." So if you want to have this tested and put up against the other shoes, he's more than happy to throw this on the mill for you there.
I mean, that would be great. We've been doing so much testing internally, and even some of our athletes, are going to come to Boston and get on our treadmill. We have 3D motion capture, the whole metabolic cart, the whole thing. So
awesome. Let's get into probably not the most fun topic, but supply and demand. And I think you have built up, especially with Molly winning the Olympics. As far as I'm concerned, she won. I'm USA. But with Molly finishing third and wearing the Deviate Elite Nitro, I should get the Nitro in there. But the demand of that has been pretty high, and people haven't been able to get their hands on it. I don't think the general public understands. While they hear that there's shipping issues or stuff, and that all brands are having a little bit of trouble this year getting their cargo over. They're having to fly it rather than ship it. There's people in the factories from COVID.
Shut down.
Just a slew of crap. But this shoe, again, we put this out, and one of the big questions, are we going to be able to get it? Like, why are you showing this shoe if we can't get it? Which we're like, I don't care if you can't get it, I got it. But can you address like what Puma as a brand is struggling with, and like what you guys are hoping to achieve with getting shoes on people's feet?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not this is not a Puma specific thing by any means. On our side, I like the way that you teed it up, right? There really is this concept of supply and demand where, look, 2021, March of 2021, we relaunched an entire collection. Yes, I thought and hoped and knew that the product was really good, and we hoped that it would be well received. Every single one of the shoes, you guys said in your reviews, was a hit, right? We didn't make any bad shoes. And so the demand for our product has been really, really high, particularly on the race thing. Not only did we launch in March, but then August or whenever exactly the Olympics were, Molly, I mean, she's tough as nails, just had an amazing performance, an amazing day, and she's more than capable of that. But we were just cheering and so excited. And that demand has really just gone off the charts, partially because of the performance, partially because of all of the, the way the whole brand is kind of moving and advancing. And so that happened right in the middle of when a pandemic hit all of us and affected all of our lives in a really, really deep way. And that's been challenging, and I always will give credit to our team in Asia that's worked tirelessly to make as many shoes as possible. I think particularly when it comes to talking a lot about these plated shoes as well, carbon fiber is not easy. I know everybody's obsessed with it and they want carbon plates in every single shoe. It's not easy to source. It's not really easy to handle. And so that is sometimes one of the limiters. As well as, our Nitro is a really advanced technology, so availability for that is something that we're always making sure to keep our eyes on.
So what are we going to be looking at? Like if you could forecast like availability in late 2022, early 2023, is there anybody who wants a Puma shoe going to be able to grab a Puma shoe?
I mean, supply and demand, right? Hopefully there's so much demand that we, I don't know, that there's more demand than there always is supply. Look, I know so many people want to get their hands on Deviate Elite 1. We're about 3 or 4 weeks away from having a good push in these. So I think in April, most everybody that wants to try Molly's shoe should, within reason, be able to. And that is what it is. The Fast-R, we're doing this limited launch now for a couple different reasons, and it certainly is small. It is global. We are in 4 different continents putting pairs out there. But this is always the challenge, right? Like people want the shoes, they want to get them out. Our athletes want to run in them. Everybody wants to review it, do all that.
Does the early launch or the very limited launch of the Fast-R right now, part of that complying with World Athletic Standards for the athletes to run in come
World
either
Championships?
Boston or World Championships?
Yeah, absolutely. That is definitely part of it.
Okay.
And I know, in the olden days, I've been running for a long time, right? Don't need to say any names. Different runners would run in different prototypes.
Right.
We had in Olympic trials that some people had super shoes and most everyone did not, right? And now we're in this new world where there are these rules. We want to get the shoes out there. But for us, it really is about servicing our athletes and performing at the highest level. And if we have the best technology, we want to make sure that Molly and Dakota and everyone on the team has the absolute best thing that they possibly can do. But we absolutely care about consumers as well. And so, I think later on in the summer, you will see a lot more Fast-Rs being produced as well, assuming there's a lot of supply chain issues across the globe, right? So it continues to be an issue for every major brand. But yeah, I think later on this fall, there should be enough where, within reason, most everybody that wants to get a Deviate Elite for sure, and even some Fast-Rs should be able to get on there.
All right, and while we're wrapping up, a couple of changes that are going to be in the production model that we've talked about. The power tape's going to be a little bit shorter, correct?
Yep, absolutely.
Power tape. There's going to be some grooves in the heel of the shoe to give it a little more flex.
Yep.
And did you say it's going to be a little softer than this version? Or it's staying the same diameter?
No. So I'll just walk you through the changes. Like you said, the power tape is going to be a little bit shorter on the upper. There will be some grooves put in the heel to... The foam is a little bit firmer. We're about 45C in the heel and then 40 in the forefoot. So the heel is firmer to give you that absorption, but also
it doesn't feel
continue
hard.
to give you that kind of downhill feeling run.
Right.
Yep. And then when we look at the plate, we actually, from the prototype, have an even stronger version of the plate. Then the outsole tread will change just a little bit to give you a little bit more grip when you're doing road running. But very, very minimal changes. You shouldn't notice anything from the prototypes to that final production.
And the grip is pretty exceptional.
Yeah. Always.
Yeah.
Puma
so I know it may sound like a commercial because we have you on and everything like that. But genuinely, I think overall we're really excited about the shoe. It's a really fun shoe to run in.
I mean, I felt like the Deviate Elite Nitro, whatever order I always get the order wrong, but I felt like that was maybe more of a tempo shoe for me, or like a fast day shoe.
Yeah.
And then this, I feel like elevates it into that top tier status. So that's, I don't know. I love it.
So anything else you want to add?
Awesome. And just for statistics reasons as well. So we're at $250 here, right? Our stack heights are 30 in the forefoot, 38 in the heel. And then we're 208 grams, so about 6.9, 7.0 ounces in a men's sample 9.
Okay, cool.
All right.
Anything
else we got to add? Check out the written review. We'll add our comments to it. Megan's already written hers out because she's had the most miles in it. At this point now, though, I think I have 9, 8, and 7.
Math numbers. Miles. 24.
24 miles in the shoe. And 2 of those being workouts. Robbie, you've got miles in the shoe. You did a 14 miler and I know it like close to a 7 with me the other day. So we've got miles in it. We're going to give you our thoughts on it. And then we're just going to continue to enjoy running in this shoe.
Yeah, and the last thing I guess we didn't necessarily say, but is Fast-R, I think for somebody that does land more midfoot to forefoot, which a lot of people do when they're running a little bit faster, that can definitely be one of the places where this shoe sings. At different paces, I still find it to be comfortable, but even for me, there are still times when I'll pull out the Deviate Elite, depending on my workout or the train. But then for me, I've been in the lab, I've been on the treadmill, Fast-R is a little bit faster even than that other shoe for me, but everybody's a little bit different.
I see it as like Endorphin Pro. If you're talking about Saucony's lineup, Endorphin Pro and the Endorphin Speed, they kind of work together that way. Some people prefer the softer feel of the Speed, so there's fast shoes and not to, I know Todd doesn't want to sit here for an ad for another for another company, but it's to help the consumer put it into like a place in their mind. That's where I think these kind of fall in together in that.
Yeah, I kind of agree.
Yeah. All right. Well, Todd, we appreciate you being on, and we look forward to more stuff coming out from Puma and seeing what you got up your sleeves, because if this is the direction we're going, this is a pretty fun direction.
It's exciting.
Plus, the Velocity Nitro 2 is the best. Is way better than last year too. Yeah. So
it was a good shoe last year. I think, like Robbie was asking me, somebody wanted to know some daily trainer advice, and it's definitely elevated this year, above last year, from being a good shoe to being like, yeah, that's when I would pull out again and again.
Yeah.
And you'll continue to see us doing that, right? Like balancing the consistency with the innovation. Velocity and Deviate, the shoes people love, we're not going to change those much. But yeah, with some of these concepts, working with the athletes, hearing their feedback, and seeing lab data, when we can make the absolute fastest shoe in the industry, we're going to try and do that. So you'll see a mix of those things.
Cool.
All right, awesome. Well, thanks for joining us, and we'll talk to you soon. All right, thanks for listening to that stuff about the Puma Fast-R. I think
Todd really knows his stuff.
He does.
Sure does.
I think that you got our opinion pretty solid there. Hopefully it didn't sound too much like a commercial, because we are glowing about the shoe. We do like it, but enjoy. We're now going to cut to our guest this week, which is doing some crazy cool stuff. Dustin Jobert, the T is silent.
Is it?
Yeah. He's doing some really cool stuff by testing athletes' economy, by putting them on the treadmill in these super shoes, measuring their heart rate, their breath, all that kind of stuff, to see if they're actually getting a benefit from these super shoes, and which super shoes stack up against which ones and provide the most bestest economy. Can you say most bestest?
Asbestos. I'm doing as best as I can.
All right. So listen to Dustin. Let's go. Lab Rat Rundown.